All right, good morning, people. Well, morning for less than a minute. Now it's noon, exactly 12 p.m. here on Wednesday, May 28th from a suddenly raining Port Credit, Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. We are one city west of Toronto. Hopefully you can hear everything okay. Let me just do a quick audio check. Seems to be a bit of a lag. All right, good morning, people. All right, the audio is working. Jellybean in the house, Jeanette, Medano, Kyle Walker. Sheena Roberts, Martin Kelly, Kin Wong 10. I think I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Gabby and everyone else. Bob Babom, Jeff 254. Unfortunately, it started raining. I do have my umbrella with me. I just recorded the Go Trip over here. Math Doctor is here saying, howdy folks, Embedded SRAM is here. And I'm probably going to have to get that umbrella out. But I just rode in on a GO train. Arriving here in Mississauga, and they're building an LRT extension or an LRT line on Ontario Street that'll run all the way up to Bramptonville, Bramptonland, Bramtown. I used to have to come here and pick up family members sometimes. They used to live not too far from here. Sometimes I would be the one picking them up. Sometimes they would be picking me up. I'm quite familiar with this little passenger waiting area. GO train frequency is like every 30 minutes or so. So for this one, we're just gonna go for a walk through Port Credit. There's a lovely area along the waterfront, but we're going to be sticking mostly to Lakeshore. But we got to head down to Lakeshore. Hopefully this is it as far as the rain goes. It was in the forecast for this afternoon, so I knew it was coming.
There's where you'd grab a Mississauga transit bus. They call it My Way now. Go Mart Variety, that place has been there forever. Jennifer Haley's here. Aiden Thompson McGuire. Johnny, did you grow up in Mississauga? I did. I did grow up in this area. Let me see something here. Can I? Oh well. BG says, hi Johnny, I'll be visiting Seoul. Do you think Busan is a good visit and adventure? It depends how long you're in Seoul. And if you've ever ridden a high-speed rail train before. Busan is its own unique thing, but it's much smaller than Seoul. If you're only in Seoul for a week, I think there's plenty in Seoul and the area to see and do. But if you're in Korea longer than that, then yeah, hop on the KTX and go check out Busan. Or I guess you could take a really quick, cheap domestic flight as well. So we are heading down towards Lakeshore from the GO station. I've done some streams in this area before. I went around the Snug Harbor area, which is west, but we're going to be going east, I think. It is raining just enough to be annoying. Please visit Busan. Well, one of the beaches in Busan, no offense, was the worst beach I've ever been to. It was so crowded. You couldn't move and nobody was getting sun. It was just umbrellas. I don't know. I like to go to the beach to get sun and relax. This beach had zero relax. It was just absolutely packed with people, shoulder to shoulder. And the entire beach was covered in umbrellas. Dan Gambler says this is where I would choose out of all Mississauga. Well, you've got a nice little urbanized area along Lakeshore here. You have a GO train with 30-minute service that will take you to downtown in 30 minutes. So you're an hour plus your commute and buffer time to the GO train away from being in downtown right at Union Station. And frequency is going to increase to every 15 minutes. So yeah, there's a lot going for this area. But it also has sky-high property values. That's the lake straight ahead. We've made it to Lakeshore Road, not Lakeshore Boulevard, Lakeshore Road. And it's all one word. Rockin' Docks is still there. High Notes, there's a vinyl shop. That used to be a no-frills supermarket, and that has been nothing for a long time. So this area just to the right is kind of neat. There's a lot of retail shops. There's some bars. I don't know if this crooked queue over here is related to the one run by total fucking assholes in Etobicoke, but there is a crooked queue just over there. D Boutique sent a membership milestone. Sorry I missed that. my other phone in my pocket just because of rain. D Boutique member for 38 months, gold tier. Thank you, D Boutique. Thank you so much for 38 months of membership. All right, I think we can skip going over towards the lighthouse and by the waterfront. With this weather, we're just gonna get moving and go east and see if we can get to Toronto on this stream. I'll come back, I'll do like a Clarkson to Port Credit or a Port Credit to Clarkson stream where we can go through that nice area on the waterfront when the weather is nice. This isn't the best time to be moseying around the harbor, but it is really nice. But I've never streamed this way before. London, the island. No, this isn't Toronto. If you met someone in London, they would tell you they're from Toronto if they're from here, but they'd be a bold-faced liar. This is Port Credit. Chick Flicks, gourmet marinated meats and grills. This is where I grew up. The Courthouse Social Bar and Kitchen. This development is new. New-ish. I guess it's old by now. But for those wondering, why didn't you go to the harbor? We'll blame the weather, but I will promise I will go back this year. We'll check out the harbor in nice weather and we'll either walk over to Clarkson or we'll figure something out. Oh, this bar changed names. The Donegal Arms. It used to have a different name. And this is Highway 10 here. For Ontario Street, St. Lawrence Drive just to the south. You know what? We can take a little detour and get the waterfront in a little bit. We're all the way over here, why not? Lakeshore enforcement zone. Parking fines increased. Yeah, in the summer, this area is quite hopping with people. But there's a little park, which will get us a view of the water. St. Lawrence Park, I think it's called, straight ahead. Lisa is here. Nouvelle Écosse is here. Look at this, something vaguely resembling urbanism in Mississauga. Weird. I left my apartment and it was kind of hot. It was like 15, 16 degrees. I saw people out in shorts and a t-shirt. I was like, nah, I don't need to bundle up or dress that warmly today. And it is kind of miserable right now, I'm not gonna lie. I guess you can't go to Port Credit without seeing the waterfront. Snug Harbor and that fake lighthouse is just off in that direction. let's get a new thumbnail. Something a little more Port Credit-esque. It is windy. I'm just gonna check Google Maps for a second. Best Times Were Born says, thanks Johnny for always putting video and audio quality high up on your list. One of the only doing that on live streams. I like to watch on my smart TV. On smaller screens, audio is always important, but the video is not as important. But when you blow it up and put it on a big OLED, I like it to look nice. All right, I'm glad I came to the water. We've got a whole stream ahead of walking on a busy, noisy lakeshore road. Interrupt those lovebirds over there. St. Lawrence Starch, the steam whistle. Used to be a lot of industry, including a big oil refinery just off in the distance there, over on the other side of Mississauga Road. Ben says, hey everyone, this reminds me, I'd love to see a Samuel Smith Park walk sometime, Johnny. I've done that once. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. You get a killer skyline view from that park. Might need a little zoomy zoom on your lens, but there's definitely a great skyline view to be had. we got one last view of the waterfront. Then we're going to head up to Lakeshore, and I'm going to start marching towards Toronto. I'm not sure if we're going to get there, but we're going to try. Settings that would stop the stream are disabled when live. Well, there's one setting I can't seem to. There we go, fixed. Gaby says I'm going to get rained on soon. Well, the joke's on you. I'm getting rained on now. It just hasn't quite been umbrella worthy. Do I see Toronto off in the distance? No, it's too hazy off in the distance. Sometimes you can make out the skyline. Well, we're almost at 300 viewers. Thank you so much, guys. Big reminder to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and all that fun diddly stuff. There'll be a video tomorrow at 9 a.m. EST as usual. All right, that is something younger Johnny would do. Does 44-year-old Johnny really want to navigate these rocks? There's a dude there reading a book. I was going to go that way, but I think we'll let them read in peace. Like those people filming nature documentaries. You want to capture nature, you don't want to disturb it. This is a beautiful area to live. Imagine having a house here. You're nice and close to Port Credit Go. You've got a whole lot of restaurants and stuff right on Lakeshore. Got the waterfront here. Great place to walk your dog. A little rocky beach action. Another updated thumbnail. Hopefully the picture's holding up. I don't have the strongest signal in this area. I'm only pumping out about half the megabits per second I'd like to. Let's find a rock to skip before we get moving. Looks like a good skipping candidate. What do you guys say? All right. Ready? Here we go. It just dropped like a rock. Okay, we're gonna skip this one. My skipping skills aren't what they used to be. Oh, that one skipped. That took a bunch of little hops. Greetings, Andre. Thank you, D Boutique. You can't skip on waves like that. I just skipped a really light one pretty good. And the luckiest people of all, something that should be illegal, truthfully, are these properties that have their own private waterfront access. I'm a believer that waterfronts just should be public property all the way along, save for the odd port and harbor and that sort of thing where boats and ships need to dock and come in. But other than that, it should all be just a big publicly accessible spot. It kind of pisses me off when waterfront is private, especially in major developed areas. You can see some industry over there. I believe that is over by Royal Windsor Drive towards Oakville. Dirk G, silver tier member. Thank you, Vivian. Hello, Johnny. Awesome mods and friends. Good to see you. 22 months of membership. Dirk G. Thank you, Dirk, all the way from Germany. It's definitely appreciated. Ooh, I'm getting low bitrate errors out here. Oh, the book reading guy has decided enough of the book has been read. True about private shoreline. Yeah, I hate it. Even when I'm staying at like a nice resort, I don't care if it's 5 stars. I don't care if it costs $1 million. That stretch of beach should be open to the public. Fortunately, in a lot of places it is like that. But now we are going to make our way back up to Lakeshore. Sorry, nature fans, that's all you get. Baba Bomb says water is probably cold as fuck. You would swim in it if the safety was passable. Greetings, Dark Sea. You can follow these markings, and this will take you all the way to the beaches in Toronto, believe it or not. It's all part of the waterfront trail system. Just get a bunch of arrows. What I'll do is I'll do an e-bike live stream or a video, either riding to Mississauga from Toronto or in the other direction. I did that several years ago and it got a lot of views. I'm not sure why I haven't done it since. I like how they put the sidewalk on the opposite side of the homes. Interesting choice there. Greetings, Pat75. Heartbeats Local says Port Credit is nice. There's a quaint, nice vibe to it. Greetings, Liam. Map. So according to my phone, we are 4.9 kilometers away from Port Credit, or rather Long Branch Go. That is where Etobicoke begins in Toronto. So that will be our destination. We'll see if I can get there. I'll get the legs moving and we'll keep them moving. Wing Emporium, Midas. So we are walking through Mississauga on Lakeshore. That guy up in that balcony just porked. It was pretty gross. There used to be a cycle shop in this plaza on the right I used to go to. I think it was called Ramsey's Cycle. Sheena, or someone, Swedish Sherry's, $4.99. Swedish Sherry's. Thank you so much for the support and the $4.99. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. And Ramsey's is now a Salvation Army thrift store. Thank you again for the $4.99. That sign just says Thai food. Come get your nondescript Thai food. Mike Fahmy, $5. Here, Johnny, get yourself a coffee. Thank you so much, Mike, for the $5. I will definitely be having a coffee. I woke up this morning and I had a smoothie. And then I had a Keurig. Then I had to get my ass to Union Station. It's 12:31. So we should be getting to, let's see, that said 4.9 kilometers a few minutes ago. We should be about an hour away, I would say. Oh, KB says, welcome to Mississauga. Thank you. Good to be back. There's scooter share across the street. We'll be going through Kothra pretty soon. I actually kind of skipped my favorite part of Port Credit, the area down near Snug Harbor, but the weather's kind of crappy. And we'll come back in a future video and do that area. All right, hello Paul, watching on his TV. Doughbox, good fired pizza. sign talking about the 1800s, what life was like here in Port Credit. Oh, someone's built out their patio nicely. Gold Cherry Bakery. It's a very nice patio for being right on Lakeshore. The Bagel House. Liam, you forgot Alicia's coffee. All day Mexican breakfast and brunch. Even out here in the burbs, you still have a fantastic selection of food. Rainia's Cakes. Holy shit, that place smells so good. The Vintage Bazaar. Free 1 hour cannabis delivery. That's it. I'm moving back to Port Credit. Places for the public to actually sit down. Tea Matters. Oh, they've got a claw machine in there. Indian culinary and cocktails. This area sure has changed. I think there used to be like a chiropractic clinic right along here. We used to go to, or one my mom used to go to at least. Greetings everyone, thanks for tuning in. Guy riding around on whatever that is. Red Bamboo Martial Arts. Wellness Clinic, Liberty Tax. So this is where it kind of transitions into being Kothra. There's an iconic ice cream spot called Dairy Cream. We'll see if that's still there. And there was a Harvey's across the street. Yeah, a dirty look from that guy. Clearance Center. Greetings, Dog Mama. Hey, that Coin Car Wash is still there. YH, $2. Hey guys, when is it open mic time? Thank you for the $2, YH. always open mic time. Just don't say anything stupid. And what you say will be allowed to stay. Movement Studio Denture Clinic. All right, back when I was growing up, there used to be a plaza coming up on the right that had a big Dominion grocery store. So that should be a Metro now. And I remember going there because they would often open on holidays. We had this ridiculously stupid law that retailers couldn't open on Sundays and holidays, and sometimes the big grocery stores would just open and pay the fine because they would make enough money to justify it. And this was a store that would sometimes open up when it wasn't supposed to. I remember going there and doing some grocery shopping. We would also go to a Nob Hill Farms up at Dixie Mall. That's not too far from here. Nob Hill Farms is long gone, but their little baskets are still used for laundry by people all around the province, I'm sure. Diva Tequila says the Dominion and the iconic beer store. Yeah, there should be a beer store in this spot on the right. I think I see what used to be Dominion. Now it's a Metro. Greetings, Han Han and everyone else. There it is. Oh, there's a Function 45 there. Ice and Spice. I bet all of those businesses are different, except maybe the convenience store. I bet every other one is different. That's the store that used to be a Dominion, right next to a beer store. So again, the destination is the city of Toronto. Hopefully we don't get caught up in a rainstorm, and hopefully my battery hangs on. Should be there in about 45 minutes or so, I would think. This is new. I say new, and I mean within the last 30 years or so. Yesterday I went for a bike ride along Commissioners in the Portlands. So that'll be on the channel tomorrow, I think. I also recorded the members video for May. And I got into a confrontation with like an Uber Eats delivery driver. going to Longbridge? Well, yes, if we're going to Toronto, we must be going to Longbridge. Sucks to be that minivan. Can't turn into the gas station because some idiot is walking around with the camera. That kind of reminds me of the stockyards on St. Clair, this development. There's a Popeyes, a Sunset Grill. I always used to go to the Sunset Grill over on the Credit River. Coffee culture. There's a Walmart here? What the hell? When did that go in? I did not know there was a Walmart. There was a big plaza with a Canadian Tire in it. I think that's coming up on the left. I don't think we're there yet. And just beyond that is the Dairy Cream, which if it were a nicer day, I would pop in and have some ice cream. Johnny vs. Uber Eats main event. It wasn't Mr. Mountain Hiker. Look at this old place. Cabin. Old barber shop. Technically, we're still in Port Credit. Walmart Supercenter, that means they do groceries as well, I think. After a couple of nice days in a row, we are bound to have a day like this. Find any kebab house, I'm sure we'll see one. You'll notice the retail getting a little more suburban in nature. Ironically, the closer to Toronto we get. I swear where that is on the left used to be a Canadian Tire. There's a Shoppers Drug Mart. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that used to have a crappy tire in it. And I remember there's an old bakery in there we'd go to sometimes that had some awesome chocolate dipped donuts. It might still be there. I see a bakery. That red sign behind the tree. That's right where I remember it being. I think the McDonald's has been there, but I swear that was a Canadian Tire. And it's now a Shoppers and Dollarama. And this building here on the right was built as a Rogers Video. That was kind of Roger's answer to Blockbuster. This whole building was a big video store. And we used to go there sometimes. Now it's been carved up into a bunch of other retailers. Roger's Video would be long gone. When will it get hot in Toronto? The last few days were quite nice. We'll go left around this van here and hope I don't get clipped by a car. Sunny Shores Travel Incorporated. RJ McKenzie says, I'm getting closer to your father's barbershop. Neat. There's Dairy Cream, the iconic Dairy Cream, across the street. The question is the Harvey's still here on the right? Mark S. remembers Jumbo Video and their popcorn. Yeah, our closest Jumbo Video was like in Oakville Place. We still went there sometimes, but usually there was a place on Lakeshore in Mississauga called Flicks and Things. And a big Blockbuster opened up and knocked that out. And around that time, the Rogers Video opened up this way. And we'd come there or go there sometimes. And here's the southern terminus of Cawthra Road. And rest in peace, Harvey's. You can see where they used to have the drive-through. Now it's a law office. Weird. Bring back Harvey's. And on a hot day in the summer, this place will be absolutely rammed with people. Eating ice cream out of little plastic baseball hats. There was Dairy Cream here, and over in Clarkson, there was Dairy Queen. But if ice cream was your thing, this was the place. That's kind of like Apache Burger, just one of those places that you hope will always be there. It's kind of legendary in these parts. Fun Guys Magic Mushroom Store. There's a Harvey's at Dundas and Dixie. The Golden Pheasant, a Canadian-European restaurant. Well, it looks kind of messy in the windows. Where this residential building is used to be a public school, if I'm not mistaken. There's not too many areas in the suburbs where you could continuously walk and be on a main street with retail like this that isn't a total car sewer. That's one of the appeals of this part of Mississauga. It's almost like you're in an entirely different city once you go south of the QEW. And major developments happening in here. The Lakefront Promenade Park is is just off in that direction. It's a huge park. I used to play baseball there growing up. They've done a really nice job building and maintaining that park over the years. I was last there a few years ago on a bike ride. SOS Computer Systems, Fang and Flower. I'm not sure if it's here or if it's in a few blocks. But I remember there was a strip club called Deca Dance, D-E-C-A Dance. And when I was in high school, people would always joke about that's where certain classmates would end up working after they graduated or didn't graduate. I think it was in that building. Very cruel joke to make, I guess. A little mean-spirited, but yeah, I think Decadence was actually not for a few more blocks. But this side, the sidewalk disappears and just becomes this multi-use trail. Let's cross to the other side. And we'll walk along with stuff. The bike ride where you ate all the bugs. That was one of the rides I took. That was on the on one of my e-scooters. I think the first aerodome was in this area. There's a lot of World War I and II, like munitions, manufacturing, I think, and storage in this area. There's a police training barracks just over there as well. Oh, hello. How's it going? Awesome, thank you. Drive safe. Hey, we got a friendly viewer on a walk. Well, I'm the one walking in Mississauga. Awesome. Lakeview cheese galore. So we're gonna get to like a little creek, and that will be the border of Mississauga and Toronto, and Marie Curtis Park will be on the south side. And I'm gonna keep walking, but I'm gonna put away the streaming gear and go into video mode. Holland Marine Products. There's a Mississauga, or Tim Hortons over there. Yeah, there's a Mississauga over there. They're doing some major building over by Lakefront Promenade. A lot of cranes up over there. Gaby attends the Lakeview Farmers Market at Dixie and Lakeshore on Sundays. Great market. Well, Dixie's the next major north-south artery we'll be walking past. There's Timmy's. There's a sign leading into the Lakefront Promenade Park. I'm gonna have to look up online and see what all the construction is over there. A whole bunch of cranes. And Gambler says I'm going towards Toronto. Yeah, we're not that far actually. And thankfully have avoided getting rained on too much. But this was the video I tried to make 2 weeks ago. I got to Union Station, I pulled out my camera, and I realized I didn't have an SD card, so I decided just to do a Toronto live stream. Susie's Jamaican Jerk, Sushi King, Lakeshore Food Mark, P&J Hamburgers, Discounted Cannabis, Cars Galore Auto, Le Monde Hair Salon, World of Weed, for the record, I stopped and nodded that guy to go through. Sir Bob Loblaws is here. See how the old step count is doing today. Wasn't so hot the past few days. So this stream's probably been a little over 7,000 or so. You love this part of Port Credit? I would consider this more Cawthra than Port Credit. Oh, the Oasis Convention Center is still there. It's kind of crazy. I used to take this Mississauga bus. It was always the 23 Lakeshore. Is it still the 23? It is. But we haven't seen too many of them. I don't think the frequency is all that great. I noticed the number 10 for Ontario is now the number 2. As soon as I mention that, here comes a 23 bus going all the way to Clarkson Go. about 7 or 8 people on it. Greetings, MK. This place has been here forever. So the amount of retail has really thinned out. Lakeside Montessori School. Well, they have lime. And bird. Why can't Toronto have nice things like that? Although, we need to legalize e-scooters first. And if they did implement share e-scooters, I really think there should be docks and places to put them so they're not just scattered wherever. I do agree with that part of the argument. Lakeview Village, so that looks like a sales center for a massive residential community going in. Green Park, Tridel, Brant Haven. We got some retail to look at coming up. I think this used to be a nice restaurant. Now looks like it's a sales center. But I swear this was a restaurant way back when. Davey says, cool park across the street, the lakefront promenade. I'm going to do an e-bike ride or live stream from Toronto, and we'll head along the waterfront. That'll pass through that park, and we can check that out. Spa open 7 days. Davey says this is where the munitions factory was, on the south side of the street. Yeah, and there's some plaques and things like that commemorating the war effort. I think the Aerodome was around here. Jay's Convenience and Vape Store, BZ Nails and Spa. just occurred to me, I'm gonna have to get lunch at some point today. I made my Go Train video to port credit. Now we're doing this live stream. I have a video planned for right after this. Maybe I'll see a spot while recording my video and stop and have lunch midway. They opened the Walmart in this area around May. The Walmart we walked by earlier. Tell you, if I wasn't live streaming, I think the more pleasant walk would be on the other side of the street. You're a little more off the road and insulated. But a little less interesting visually. I think I can see Dixie Road off in the distance. High and Low Retrospective says, I know it's technically Lakeshore Road, but it's more like memory lane for Mr. Strides. Hopefully that lady crosses the street safely. I remember taking the 23 bus, and I think it was the number 5 Dixie Road bus you could connect to at Long Branch, and that would take you up to Dixie Mall. Greetings, Nessie and everyone else. Thanks for tuning in. Maybe once every week or two I decide to skip a morning upload. I normally upload every morning or post the video every morning at 9 a.m. EST in a premiere. But I skip that sometimes and we do this. And today we are in Mississauga. And you'll know I'm probably going live the next day when I don't have a video scheduled for that morning. Or we'll be walking by a construction site. Are they honking at me? The Lakeview Golf Course is just north of here. Once home to the Canadian Open, believe it or not. And the Toronto Golf and Country Club is across the street from that. I had a friend whose brother worked there, and he got us on to that course once. That was my first time ever playing at a hoity-toity private golf club. Trying to get 18 holes in after 5:30. I think we got to around 16 when it was too dark. And there's where those training barracks were for the police academy. It's the Small Arms Inspection Building. Am I a fan of Eminem? I don't go out of my way to listen to Eminem. But if it came on, I might not change it. It's true of a lot of artists. All right, 404 not found. Have a fantastic day. So this is the foot of Dixie Road, where they have a painted line masquerading as a bike lane. Safe? You be the judge, but I don't consider that a bike lane. Sir Bob Wabla says that's where they hold the Police Academy Awards. Well, where they filmed part of some of the first police academies is in Etobicoke along Lakeshore. There's an old mental hospital, which is now a Humber College campus. That bus is going to Dixie Valley Mall. The 31 Ogden. That reminds me of Ogdenville from The Simpsons. Lakeshore is definitely not a pleasant road to be on as a pedestrian outside of Port Credit and around the Waterfront Trail. That's relatively true, but that's true of any major road or strode in suburbia, including the exurbs and what I would call urban centers in Toronto. Mostly Scarborough, Etobicoke, North York. Sadly, Mississauga is not interesting. Where we started this stream, I think that area was quite interesting. And there's a part of Streetsville that's quite charming. Well, it's good just to change it up. Only walk around downtown and midtown so many times before I want to scratch the itch of seeing somewhere else in the area. At least this is a more scenic Mississauga walk than the Queensway. That's for damn sure. Dundas, pretty boring most of the way. Vernonthorpe, pretty boring most of the way. Highway 10 or Her, Ontario is kind of a construction mess. That might be the most interesting continuous stretch of retail to walk other than Lakeshore in Mississauga. Mississauga seems to be a lot more urban than Toronto. What are you smoking? I will disagree with you and die on that hill. Argument to be made right there. But if I had to live in Mississauga and it was around Port Credit Go, as in I could walk there within 5-10 minutes, I don't think I'd hate it. But we are almost in Toronto. Coin Car Wash. Marie Curtis Park. Well, that's the Etobicoke side. black fly season. Blackberry or black fly vodka sour raspberry, 7%. We are so close. I can see Toronto. I can see the Welcome to Toronto sign. I think we're gonna cross here. There's a nice little beach at the south end of Marie Curtis Park. Oh, sidewalk closed. Use other sidewalk, so we can't cross here. Damn you, we've been foiled. Marge is asking, am I stopping at the loop? Maybe. If the weather were nice, I would probably cut through Marie Curtis Park and head down to that little beach area on the lake. But we will do that when I come this way on my e-bike. That way it'll be much easier to go to those areas. All right, it's time to say your goodbyes to Mississauga. This creek here is the official border between the two municipalities. Of course, before amalgamation, I would simply be walking from Mississauga into Etobicoke. But now it is actually Toronto we're walking into. Welcome to Toronto, Ontario's capital. Hey, we can see a GO train. Long Branch GO here is under a lot of construction. These, I think, are government assisted living buildings just on the left. I'm gonna go behind this car. There you can enter Marie Curtis Park. Across the Etobicoke Creek. Oh, that is sad. In loving memory of our fallen brother, your memory will live on in our hearts and minds forever. You will be forever missed. March 3rd, 86, June 19, 2021. Making him 25. Perhaps there was an accident right in this spot. Sad stuff. I was gonna go to the loop. But then I saw the water and I thought, let's go down to the waterfront. I've got enough battery left. I need to get some more steps in. So we are going to go through this park a little bit. This is Marie Curtis Park. This area, you come here on a nice weekend day in the summer. This is just a giant picnic area. There'll be lots of people out. But we're gonna go get, hopefully, a view of the waterfront. Am I hungry? Yes, I am starving. Walking down to the waterfront ain't gonna help. That's just gonna take me further from restaurants. Sir Bob Loblaw says watch out for bears. I'm gonna go walk on the sidewalk, getting little grass shavings and that sort of thing falling into my shoes, making my feet all itchy. But there's a little beach area just to the south of here. Where we'll wrap this up. Charlie Bean says there was a Starbucks ahead, but I turned. It's all good. Figured we should get a little dose of the waterfront. Although I'm seeing one of those orange construction signs along it. That's not a good sign. Hopefully RIP lunch. It's all good. If I came this way and we can't get close to the waterfront, well, that's just not going to be ending this one on a high note, is it? Little squirrel. They number these streets. The north-south streets. This is 42nd Street. I think that naming convention holds up all throughout Etobicoke. Well, it looked like the lake was right there. From Lakeshore, but it's sure taken a while to get here. right. We did it. The lake may be further than it appears. Objects in the rearview mirror may be further away than they appear. There's a little cannon. And we found a bunch of geese. What's up, geese? I don't know how I feel about getting sand in my shoes, but we made it. Sam Smith Park is off in that direction. We don't quite have an angle to see the downtown skyline today. It looks like it might be clear enough. All right, we'll hang out here for a minute. Then I guess I'll live stream back to Lakeshore. We'll go up a different street. Print says the new park extension just to the west is just about done. Miss Meow Meow is watching from Scotland. Greetings. All right, duck. There's 300 to 400 people watching you right now. Thousands more on the replay. Now's your time to shine. Goodbye, nature. We'll take a different street back to Lakeshore. You're welcome, Moonaboo. If you're biking around this area, you can follow these Sharrow signs. They'll take you along these streets throughout Etobicoke and Mississauga. It's a nice little area, this is. Some absolutely stunning homes. Look at that. Someone's been paying their landscaping bill. So we're just going to get back to Lakeshore. David says he used to own a house for 13 years on 7th Street. 9 houses from the lake. Loved it. Well, if I lived in these parts, I'd be down by the lake all the time. Oh, what a nice home that is. As the guy awkwardly looks at me. I wanted to record more of his home, but I didn't want him to think I was a weirdo. You see that style of house popping up all over Toronto. You'll see much bigger versions of those in Forest Hill. Pair of semis tastefully redone. This is a nice area. You get lake access, GO train access. When they increase the frequency to every 15 minutes, it'll be nice and close to downtown. Got a big, beautiful park just west of here. There's a lot of retail along Lakeshore on the Toronto side. Restaurants and shops and that sort of thing. It's a really underrated part of town, I would say. You don't hear a whole lot about Long Branch. And if you keep going east, we'll be through an area known as New Toronto and Etobicoke, and you'll be at the Humber, crossing over into Toronto. That's right around where Parkdale starts, just to the north. Or rather, High Park. Parkdale's just a bit east of there. How old is this neighborhood? Good question. I don't know. But a lot of these homes have been rebuilt or remodeled. There's clearly been a number of tear downs and new builds, so that's a sign of a very healthy neighborhood. You get these quaint, almost cottage style homes. Forgot to mention Mimico. Didn't I mention Mimico? New Toronto. Yeah, I said New Toronto Mimico, didn't I? Is this part of Toronto or a town on its own? Well, this is Etobicoke, so it was part of a different municipality, but after amalgamation, it became part of Toronto. Etobicoke had its own city hall, but the streetcar always ran out here. The old lakeshore line. There's a streetcar loop. Just up ahead here, and there's a Royal Canadian Legion right there. There's the old streetcar loop. And Mississauga bus is turning around. I think we're gonna head over there and just finish right in that spot. I think I said Etobicoke instead of Mimico. Oh well. You were drinking a lot yesterday. It seems like, or at least I feel like I've always been drinking a lot. Whether or not that's true is beyond me. You heard Etobicoke, not Mimico. I guess I said Etobicoke. Oh well. Was Mississauga considered to be a part of an amalgamation? No. No, it was not. That just would have been silly. But one of the things really holding Toronto back was amalgamation, because now you have all these suburban car-brain voters electing members of city council. And that has not been good for progress. A lot of people want to have their cake and eat it too, as in drive downtown and demand to be able to go wherever they want in their car at the expense of the quality of life for the people that live there. Basically the Doug Ford base. The bus loop and streetcar loop is right up here. I used to take the old style streetcars every once in a while from this spot. That's the number 5. So the number 5 Dixie bus still exists. That's how I've always known it. But you know what, folks? We're gonna wrap this one up. No streetcar here yet, but I'm sure there'll be one soon. Huge thanks to everyone who tuned in. Huge thanks to our mods for their great work, channel members, Patreon supporters, everyone who sent support during the stream, and just everyone who tuned in. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and all that fun stuff. I'm going to record a video now and hopefully not die of hunger or starvation along the way. But do like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, yada yada yada. Thank you so much. Alright, I thought that guy was running at me. He was just running past me. But there'll be a video tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. EST. So thank you so much, guys. Yoink.